Namaste, angels. I'm here to do the weekly general reading. It's another one of those weeks where there's, a tremendous amount of things going on, and a week that sort of rolls into the next week, like 2 weeks straight of just very high spiritual, celestial, even romantic energy going around and about us. I do want to make an announcement, speaking of energy. And I'm not one to try to sell things, certainly not myself, on anyone or anything like that. But I have to tell you guys, the energy work that I have been doing, first of all, I've been doing it for a long time, but I never really publicized it because unlike my readings, which I would work with people, often do them for free and, discounted rates, what a person felt they could afford, I can't physically do that with the energy work because it really, really takes a lot out of me. It's sort of like a transfusion, like an energetic transfusion between me and another person. So I have to charge what I charge. But when I began to experience all this theft and, other annoyances and things from the dark, and I felt forced to move to something, more professional and official. I had to, work on my website, get that going, have it live and everything. And of course, on a website, I can't very well advertise, varying prices or pay what you want, to the general public. So I had to really get official there. And so perfect time, God always uses, even our negative experiences for good and for positive. So it was the perfect time, born of this very negative experience, the perfect time for me to announce upon the world that I do this energy work. And right away, there was a really, really tremendous response to it. And I got to tell you, the results have been equally, if not far, outweighing as phenomenal. And you can see some of the feedback. I posted some of the feedback on my Facebook page. I believe in some cases I also shared it on my fan page. So Queenofswords _ the Lightworker, if you're on there. And also my Twin Flame Journey page, which although I don't go by the, moniker, label, whatever, Twin Flame anymore, was my first page before I started doing anything. One night, the universe woke me up at 5:55 in the morning and told me to do this. And it was so early on that I wasn't sure if I was completely nuts. And I text my best friend and I said, I think the universe just told me to make a Facebook page about this twin flame thing. And I started the page and I didn't do anything with it. But I took the guidance that I had been given. I listened to the message. And then I went back to sleep. And, fast forward, here we are. It's a thriving page. But yeah, I want you guys, anybody that's feeling that they need to work on energy, and I'm using my Ascended Master deck. Any of you who have the Ascended Master deck, Doreen Virtue, you know that there are cards in there indicative of the need for energy healing and things. We turn them up so often in our readings. If you're feeling that you need that, you've been unable to heal your energy, take a look at the feedback. Don't take my word for it. Take a look at the feedback, your fellow brothers and sisters of the light, and take a look at my website, queenofswords.thelightworker.com, under the heading Energy Work Offerings. On the drop-down menu there, the first choice. So there's 3, and the only one I'm pushing right now, or pushing it all, is this Divine Light Cleanse. Because that's been the one most ordered, and there's been, like I said, really, really tremendous results. I'll just give you like a quick summary. One woman, she hadn't been sleeping well. She slept 10 hours that night. The next day, her divine masculine contacted her and told her he wanted to make love to her. It was very romantic. So that was something new. One woman who had, tremendous anxiety. She slept for 15 hours the day that I did it and was able to release that anxiety onto what she had been holding, which enabled her to move on, not from her journey, but throughout her week, sort of being stifled by her feelings and by her emotions, and she was able to take like a little vacation and all that kind of stuff. Another woman who had been physically unable to do many of the things that she enjoyed doing, that she needed to do. Her yoga, she was missing yoga classes that she had already paid for, all kind of stuff, because she just didn't have the energy to even get up and go. And I was able to see that. I was able to see the feminine sort of medical problems that she was having, hormonal imbalance, exactly what vitamins in which she was deficient, and tell her what the angels suggested to me that she do. And, she felt so much better. Her sister was so amazed by the results. The sister bought 2 of the different types of energy healings that I offer. So I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I want you guys to know that it's available. And then I love doing it. Again, not because, I earn money doing it, because it's not even like a ridiculous amount of money. I think it's very fair for me to be giving my energy, because it's like it really is draining. But aside from all that, because I don't care about stuff like that. I'm really not this earthly type of person. I appreciate being ascended, and I want to remain that way. I try to keep my vibration up. So I'm above the earthly and stuff like that. I'm on a different level. And what makes me happy is seeing members of the collective, that they're able to be proactive and, take back their lives, take back control of their lives. They're no longer stifled by these blocks. One woman contacted me today that she had, she's had these dreams of the past lives now, very, very clear. She knows, the scenario, what her and her divine masculine went through in their past life. And she's able to move forward now. And this is since the cleanse. And like she believes, as much as I do and as well as I do, that it's because of the cleanse. Another one that I just did last night, right away this morning, she had energy. She wanted to work out. And she too had a very vivid dream that I think, some of our dreams were actually in another dimension, and they're more real. And we can tend to tell like which ones are prophetic and or otherwise real and which ones are just dreams. And this one was very vivid, very clear. And she knew that it was a true message for her, and that had been blocked. So yeah, I don't want to keep talking about, like I said, especially since I have a lot of other stuff to do. But Queenofswords, thelightworker.com. You don't even need the www if you are interested. And with that, I'll go into what's going on this week. So this is the general again for today, Sunday, the 16th through Saturday, the 22nd. Okay, and I told you guys last week that today, Sunday, was going to be the feast of Our Lady of Mount Carmel. Actually, I probably should have brought that up so I can tell you a little bit about her. And guess what next Saturday is? So we're starting out with Mary, the mother of Jesus. And Saturday, the 22nd, is the feast day of Mary Magdalene. How awesome is this? So I think that alone it's a week like sort of bookend by love, right? The love of Jesus's mother, the mother of all angels, queen of all angels, and his, like divine love, his romantic interest, and what I believe the true leader of his church above Peter. Her books were removed and all that. The books of Mary Magdalene were removed from the Bible, similar to how the books of Mary were removed, his mother. So regardless of what I feel her place in the church was, I think most people agree that she was quite possibly, at worst, his girlfriend. So I think, again, that those two things alone are reason why this week is going to be awesome. But aside from that, what else is going on this week? From I guess this will be astronomy point of view. On the 20th, Mars enters Leo. On the 22nd, the sun enters Leo, right? We're going to move out of Cancer and into Leo. And on the 23rd, which is the following day, the next Sunday, the new moon in Leo. And then the 24th is something else. Getting back to the spiritual. The 24th is the first day of the month of Av. Av, spelled A-V, which is not unlike you know, Ava or Abba, A-B-A, you know, both are acceptable. Both mean father in Hebrew. So it's sort of like the month of father. It's a month of redemption. And within this month falls, again, the 15th of Av, which I told you about in brief last week. It's like a soulmate day, a very, very special day. Also, Rosh Chodesh, which is a very, very special feminine holiday where the women specifically were celebrated for refusing to contribute to this golden calf foolishness. And they wouldn't, you know, they were asked for their jewelry to be melted down to contribute to the golden calf. They refused. And so they were rewarded with this holiday, you know, celebrating women and how we've always held it down, even back in the ancient times. So that falls in this month too. It's a very, very special month, a very, very special week. And next week is also special with regard to the spiritual feast days. So we end on Saturday with Mary Magdalene. And then on Tuesday, the 25th, is the feast day of St. James the Apostle. And on the 26th, Joaquin and Anne, Mary's parents. So yeah, it's just a lot. And then getting back to the 24th and the celebration of father, for me, it's interesting because coincidentally, my earthly father, his birthday is on the 24th. He is a Leo. So very Sekhmet and Ra, me and him, with me being a Leo rising. But he's a twin. He's a twin. His brothers are twins because my grandmother had 2 sets of twins and his last name is Thomas, which means twin. So that's a special thing for me too, but also I think with relation to my connection. And so, you know, to all of this and, you know, how I came to be and to be doing what I'm doing right now. And so, maybe in that respect, you know, thereby, you know, to you, to give you some insight into like exactly, you know, why is she sitting there doing this and why am I listening? Why do I care? You know, perhaps that's why. All right, I think I'm going to start out of order, and I'm going to go to Mary Magdalene before Mary, Mother of Jesus. Mary Magdalene, this is from Wikipedia. Her name literally translates from, or translates to Mary the Magdalene, or Mary of, as in from, Magdala. She was a Jewish woman who, according to the text included in the New Testament, traveled with Jesus as one of his followers. She is said to have witnessed Jesus' crucifixion and resurrection, and within the 4 Gospels, she's named at least 12 times, more than most of the apostles. The Gospel of Luke says 7 demons had gone out of her, and the longer ending of Mark, so before they changed Mark, says that Jesus cast 7 demons out of her. She is most prominent in the narrative of the crucifixion of Jesus, at which she is present, and the witness in all 4 Gospels of the empty tomb. The central fact of Jesus' resurrection, she was also present 2 days later, immediately following the Sabbath, when according to all 4 of the canonical Gospels, she was either alone or as a member of a group of women, the first to testify to the resurrection of Jesus. And specifically, Mark 16:9 names her as the first person to see Jesus after his resurrection. Ideas that go beyond the gospel presentation of Mary Magdalene as a prominent representative of women who followed Jesus have been put forward over centuries. Mary Magdalene is considered to be a saint by the Catholic, Eastern Orthodox, Anglican, and Lutheran churches, with a feast day of July 22nd. Other Protestant churches honor her as a heroine of faith. The Eastern Orthodox churches also commemorate her on the Sunday of Myrrh Bearers, the Orthodox equivalent of one of the Western 3 Marys traditions. I mentioned last week at random, Tres Marias. So that's what that is. During the Middle Ages, Mary Magdalene was regarded in Western Christianity as a repentant prostitute or promiscuous woman, claims not found in any of the 4 canonical Gospels. But I can tell you that in the Talmud, it does speak of not only Mary Magdalene, but 4 or 5 women, other women that I can think of, including Tamar and Rahab, in Jesus's ancestry, who were said to be prostitutes in there. So this is about not the fact that she was a prostitute being important, but this is about people being able to, again, rise above transmutation and to be cleansed for their energy to be cleansed, for their perspective, their soul to be cleansed, for them to find the light, for the God spark within to be reignited. There is a possibility if we are open to that. The other thing that I'm thinking is like kind of special is that in the 1 week or two, over the period of the 2 weeks, so Mary Magdalene, Mary, Mother of Jesus, and then also James, when I do my crossbread, and when I do my modified crossbreads, the placements that I added are Mary, Mother of Jesus, Mary Magdalene, and Mary, the mother of James. So that also coming through is something special, at least for me. All right, so Our Lady of Mount Carmel is the title given to the Blessed Virgin Mary and her role as patroness of the Carmelite order. The first Carmelites were Christian hermits living on Mount Carmel in the Holy Land during the late 12th and early mid 13th century. We know how Mary loves 13. They built in the midst of their hermitages a chapel in which they dedicated rather to the Blessed Virgin, whom they conceived of a chivalric terms as the Lady of the place. Our Lady of Mount Carmel was adopted in the 19th century, why can't I talk, as the patron of Chile in South America. So this is my second time in 2 weeks mentioning Chile too. And there's a snowstorm. I saw it earlier on the news in Chile right now. I was like, I was just talking about them. So I thought that was interesting. And then I connected Mary to, that vibration of the Ice Queen and Venus and got myself tickled. Anyway, since the 15th century, popular devotion to Our Lady of Mount Carmel has centered on the scapular of Our Lady of Mount Carmel, also known as the brown scapular, a sacramental associated with promises of Mary's special aid for the salvation of the devoted wearer. Traditionally, Mary is said to have given the scapular to an early Carmelite named Saint Simon Stock. The liturgical feast of Our Lady of Mount Carmel is celebrated on the 16th of July. So that's today. The solemn liturgical feast of Our Lady of Mount Carmel was probably first celebrated in England in the later part of the 14th century. Its object was thanksgiving to Mary, the patroness of the Carmelite order, for the benefits she had accorded to it through its difficult early years. The institution of the feast may have come in the wake of a vindication of their title, Brothers of the Blessed Virgin Mary, at Cambridge, England in the year 1374. So 1311 or 111111 or 6 equals love, which is another thing she loves. She loves 6 too. The date chosen was originally the 17th of July. So I told you that the 17th of July is now not Mary, but a day on which some celebrate Lilith, actually. Maybe that's one of the reasons why it was changed, because now they scrapped that. And the European mainland was also conflicted with this date because they were celebrating Saint Alexis. So they just decided to scrap the 17th completely from Mary and celebrate her on the 16th. And it remains the feast day of Our Lady of Mount Carmel today throughout the Catholic Church and in Latin countries. In Latin, it means, they translate it and they've written a poem about her, where they call her the flower of Carmel instead. And this verse appears as a sequence for her mass. And with that, I guess I'll go into the astronomy. So this is from astronomy.com. Beginning today, Sunday, July 16th, the last quarter moon occurs at 3:26 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Look for it either before dawn this morning, when it looks slightly more than half lit, or after it rises around 1 a.m. local daylight time tomorrow, when it appears as a fat crescent. Earth's only natural satellite straddles the border between the relatively inconspicuous constellations of Pisces the fish and Cetus the whale. Monday, July 17th, 30 minutes after the sun goes down, look for Mercury low in the western sky. The innermost planet lies some 8 degrees above the horizon, from mid-northern latitudes and a bit higher if you live farther south. Mercury shines at a magnitude of -0.1, bright enough to show up against the twilight glow, although you shouldn't hesitate to use binoculars if you can't spot it immediately with your naked eye. Through a telescope, the planet appears 6 inches across and about 2/3 lit. Tuesday, July 18th, Jupiter appears nearly 1/3 of the way to the zenith in the southwestern sky an hour after sunset this week. The brilliant planet shines at a magnitude of -1.9, 19. Jupiter shining at 19. That's daddy upon daddy. It dominates the evening sky. It appears against the backdrop of Virgo, some 9 degrees northwest of the Maiden's brightest star, first magnitude Spica. When viewed through a telescope, Jupiter's disk spans 36 inches and shows a wealth of atmospheric detail, while its four bright Galilean moons line up with the west of the planet. Conveniently, the quartet of satellites appears in order of increasing distance from the planet, with Io closest, followed by Europa, Ganymede, and last Callisto. Wednesday, July 19th, the southern delta Aquarid meteor shower ramps up this week. The shower doesn't peak until the end of July, but you should see a few of its members in the hours before dawn. The best time to look is between 3 and 4 a.m. local daylight time, just before twilight begins. Viewing conditions should be excellent because the waning crescent moon sheds little light into the morning sky. To tell a southern delta Aquarid meteor from a random dust particle burning up the Earth's atmosphere, trace the streak of light's path backward. A shower meteor will appear to originate from the constellation Aquarius, the water bearer. Thursday, July 20th. Early risers should be on the lookout for this morning's spectacular conjunction between Venus and the waning crescent moon. The two rise around 3 a.m. local daylight time and come to dominate the eastern sky by the time twilight begins an hour later. Brilliant Venus shines at a magnitude of -4.1, just 3 degrees to the upper left of the 12% lit moon. If you view the planet through a telescope this morning, it shows a 16-inch diameter disk that appears 70% illuminated. Friday, July 21st, last day of Cancer. Perhaps no month better epitomizes summer in the Northern Hemisphere than July. And this month finds the season's namesake asterism, the summer triangle, on prominent display. The trio's brightest member, Vega, in the constellation Lyra the Harp, stands nearly overhead shortly before midnight. The asterism's second brightest star, Altair, in Aquila the Eagle, then lies more than halfway from the southeastern horizon to the zenith. Deneb, the luminary of Cygnus the Swan, marks the summer triangle's third corner. Although it is this asterism's dimmest star, it's the brightest point of light in the northeastern sky. The moon reaches apogee, the closest point in its orbit around Earth, at around 1:12 p.m., which is 11:11 Eastern Daylight Time. It then lies 224,462 miles, which is 11, from Earth's center. Pardon me, my mind adds stuff as I read. And lastly, jumping the gun, Saturday, July 22nd, Pluto reached the peak of its 2017 appearance last week, and it remains a tempting target for those with an 8-inch or larger telescope. The 14th magnitude world is visible all night among the background stars of northeastern Sagittarius, some 1.8 degrees east-southeast of 3rd magnitude Pi Sagittarii. See In Pursuit of Pluto, which I believe is an article that they wrote, in the July Astronomy, which is a magazine of theirs, for complete details on finding this world. So anybody that wants to look for Pluto with their telescope can refer to that article, and it will tell you how. And lastly now, Sunday, July 23rd, the new moon occurs at 5:46 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. At its new phase, the moon crosses the sky with the sun and so remains hidden by our star. but that won't be the case next time our satellite completes the orbit of Earth. On August 21st, the new moon will pass directly in front of our star, bringing a total solar eclipse to millions of observers across the United States, from Oregon to South Carolina. The rest of the country will experience a partial eclipse, though viewers should try their best to get into the path of totality. I may go to South Carolina. Many of you know that my family's from South Carolina, or from the Carolinas, like both, all over the place. So I may go there. We'll see. But I also did want to mention, and I'll talk about it more as it gets closer, that eclipse is attached to a black moon. And some of us have been experiencing for a while this black moon and Lilith energy. And I didn't talk about it that much. I think I mentioned it in brief a few months ago when it started, and I didn't revisit. But last year I spoke about it quite a bit, because that black moon Lilith in Scorpio was a trip. And I was getting, like, you know, at one point, just, you know, DMs from DFs, direct messages from Divine Feminine saying, you know, my man packed up and moved out in the middle of the night and didn't even say goodbye. And I just got to the point where I was saying, is he a Scorpio? Because that, you know, it was affecting them the most. They were really in a weird place with this dark moon Lilith, this asteroid, and how she affects and how she deals with the dark moon and interacts with it, was causing them to act really weird. Well, on February 14th of this year, Valentine's Day, she left that Scorpio energy and went into Sagittarius. So I think not just this way, and maybe this is one of the other reasons I'm being prompted to mention this, not just is Monday a day where, you know, some members of the dark will be celebrating Lilith and trying to get you to celebrate with them by telling you, you know, it's some super energy day, but they can't explain why they're saying that. I think also we may have to be particularly on the lookout for Lilith surrounding this eclipse, but I'll talk about that more when the time comes, and exactly what a black moon is and all of that, because we got so much today. All right, so I did astronomy. Okay, last thing, I wanted to tell you guys a little bit about the month of Av, or at least like a little bit about Rosh Chodesh, and then next week we'll go into further detail on that. So this is coming from Shabbat.org. And it is about the month of Av. The name of the 11th month of the Jewish calendar, Av, literally means father. So it might be the 11th month of the Jewish calendar, but it's the 5th month, I think. I mean, counting from Nisan of the ecclesiastical year. So that's from me. That's not from the website. The name of the 11th month of the Jewish calendar, Av, literally means father. It is customary to add the name Menachem, which means comforter or consoler. So Menachem Av, or, you know, our consoling father, or father our consoler, right? Av is the month in which both temples were destroyed and many other tragedies occurred in Jewish history at this time. It's easy for us to feel deserted, lost, alone, yet we're taught that our Father in heaven is there to comfort and console us. Av, on one hand, includes a low point on the Jewish calendar, the 9th of Av, the day of the sin of the spies and the destruction of both the first and the second temples in Jerusalem. But on the other hand, it also incorporates a high point, the 15th of Av, a day designated for finding one's predestined soulmate, and it's considered one of the happiest days on the Jewish calendar. May we speedily merit the ultimate redemption, when days of sorrow will be turned to days of joy, and we will celebrate once again in our holy temple in Jerusalem. So this is speaking all about the New Jerusalem. Also, I wanted to mention the holiday that falls in between here for women. The special connection between women and Rosh Chodesh harks way back to the episode of the Golden Calf, when the women refused to surrender their jewelry for use in making the idol. As a reward, they were given Rosh Chodesh as a special holiday for women. Rosh Chodesh celebrates the monthly renewal of the moon. After it wanes to the point of disappearance, And thus Rosh Chodesh celebrates the concept of perpetuity. Despite life's peaks and plunges, it is the woman who, through her steadfast faith, ensures our nation's survival. It is she who ensures that no matter how much we wane, we will always be renewed. I think that this is our theme this week. Divine feminine, get up off your thing. I'll say it nicely like James Brown. Get up off that thing. And it's time for us to get busy, basically. Get to work. No more, oh, woe is me. So with that, let's see what the cards have in store for us this week. With my crossbreed, I'm going to begin with Lady Venus. Downloads and understanding. Truth is being revealed. Deep insights are coming from heaven and the astral realm. Lady Venus is still in Gemini. Yes, she is. Opening to Archangel Michael. Trusting heaven. You are safe. Angels stand close. Surrender your concerns and allow a miracle to occur. Venus and Gaia. Earth connection. Be mindful of the planet. Come back to Earth. Stay grounded. So this, I think, very poignant during this month of Tammuz, and especially as we move into Av, because that period in between the two where they're sort of conjoined, and there's like a period of like over like 3 weeks where we focus on the two of them together, is one of where, you know, man let his free will get the best of him. And so I think we have got to remain cognizant of what's going on with us right now, so we don't let that happen again. So opening to Master Buddha and increased awareness. Speaking of remaining focused, deep connection, trust your inner voice. Master Buddha, I'll go one more. It's the Holy Spirit. Expect miracles. Remember that only love is real. Miracles will occur naturally. Spirit has your back. Master Buddha. Our overall energy is Lady Nada. Heart awakening. Awaken to acceptance and divine love. Give and receive in balance. So here we have the feminine with regard to herself. The masculine with regard to the feminine. The masculine with regard to himself. Of course, all of these as they relate to the union. The masculine with regard to the union overall. The overall energy. The outcome. Feminine. Master Jesus. Forgiveness. You are on the path of light, love, and forgiveness. Father healing is possible at this time. How special is this when I just got finished talking about this being the month of Father, and his comforting, being available to us. So Jesus shows up to reinforce that message and to help us along where we do have to express some compassion and forgiveness toward the masculine, where he, you know, maybe has been waning, as they say, and the feminines had to hold it down, Rosh Chodesh style. The masculine in relation to us, Isis, magic manifesting. Your dreams, visions, and goals are becoming reality. Stay focused. Not only does he see all this promise within us, but I mean, what else does Isis represent? This is the divine feminine of all time. So for him to see us this way, and for her to be essentially sitting here next to her son, a different vibration, with how we feel about ourselves and how the masculine feels about us, these two sitting here, I think it says something very, very beautiful and divine. The masculine about himself, Mercury. Maybe he wants to talk. Open communication. Get a weight off your chest. This has been showing up with the masculine. I think this might be like the 3rd week in a row. Speak up with love and be heard. And with regard to the union, awakening presence. So becoming more just cognizant of our situation and our individual roles, and maybe even our purpose together, beginning to have some foresight as to what's to come. The universe is with you. Wear a cloak of protection and love. Overall, White Eagle, ancestor spirit, connect with your lineage. I think this is specifically talking about father this week. That's our lineage, like connect with him. A family wound or pattern can be healed now. So going back to our past lives, right? This was a period of time again where we screwed up. We made some mistakes as a collective, and that family wound can be healed now. This is a period of redemption for us right now. And the outcome, Paul the Venetian, experiencing grace. Share your gifts with grace. Waves of inspiration and love are coming to you now. I don't know how we could not experience grace with Father healing surrounding us, Mother helping us to manifest, Mercury helping us to communicate, and further awakening and ascending, and an opportunity to heal some old wounds of our past lives in this lifetime, our pasts in this lifetime, and our past lives as a whole. So the other positions, Mary, Mother of Jesus. What would the masculine have the feminine to do this week toward, this work that we have to do? And this is the general reading, so it's not necessarily romantic. Do or surrender. Horus, cosmic gateway. Your thoughts are magnetic and powerful. Miraculous changes are occurring. So now we have Isis crossing her sun and sitting next to her sun, and two different vibrations, which is pretty awesome and pretty beautiful. So what he would have the feminine to do this week is to basically be, again, cognizant, aware of the fact that she's manifesting. Watch your thoughts. It's like the number one, right? The number one, when we see that, that's the universe saying, hey, you're in the middle of manifesting right now. Your thoughts are becoming your reality. Pay attention to them so that you don't bring anything negative toward what we have going on here, because it's otherwise so beautiful. What would the masculine do or surrender himself toward the union this week? Hilarion, divine healing. Honor your sensitivity. I just thought about that Ralph Tresvant song. You need a man with sensitivity. A retreat to recharge and heal. Your light can support others. So if he doesn't feel strong enough to maybe do this communication, although I feel that he will, then he should hold off. And he's got 7 days during the week if he wants to communicate to do it. Hold off until he does feel that he's in the right place. And when he is, it's going to be not only therapeutic to himself to get this stuff off his chest, but it's going to be healing to the feminine as well. And it may allow the two of them to perhaps share some of their story, but certainly to share their energy, and that can be healing to other people. What would the universe have the two to do or sacrifice toward their work this week in a general sense? In the Mary Magdalene placement, we have Saint Germain, karma releasing. Move beyond drama. Create your own path and make room for good energy. So this is about, like, at risk of persecution, so to speak. And it's funny, I wandered into church the other day. Like, I literally wandered in. I was on my way to the gym, and all of a sudden next thing I knew, I was in the church, and the service hadn't started yet. And I sat down and I was looking for, like, to see if they had a Bible or anything there. They didn't. And I was sitting there, and then the priest came out and he started to set up, and the woman came out and she began the reading. And it was a reading from the book of Genesis. So it was about what I had been talking about all last week. Joseph, Jacob, Manasseh. I was talking about Tammuz and all that. So I was talking about all that stuff. And with relation to the karma, the situation with his brothers, because I'm reminded of that now, with healing a family issue. The situation with his brothers came up, and his brothers, Joseph's brothers, attempted to sell him into slavery. So they essentially catapulted him to being like the number one good son by them being, not so nice to him. But he was able to move beyond it and to let it go and to, not be derailed. And the priest also then went into the other more recent aspect of that from Matthew, and how Jesus said something very similar, like, people will hate you for following me. People will hate you for following this path. Now, I'm not saying that, you guys are followers of Jesus. Some of you may be atheists. That's not what I mean. But I mean this path of spirituality, this path toward, your own personal righteousness. People will hate you for that. People will hate you for being guided toward the light. They'd rather, misery loves company. They'd rather see you go to the dark. And so we have to be, the universe is asking us this week to be firm in this commitment of doing what pleases our soul and is to the higher good, at least of ourselves, but, perhaps to humanity as a whole. All right. So I'm going to go on to the next spread. If we're clear on this one, again, the feminine, getting into this place of forgiveness. Maybe not holding it against the masculine that she's had to hold it down. That's what Mother did, and I think that the Rosh Kodesh, I think what it describes is being that feminine, like Isis, who is there to pick up the pieces, to literally, put her masculine back together, put her man back together if she has to, breathe life back into him, help him to rise again to, the strong person, and, commanding presence, healed, healthy, that she knows he can be. That in itself could be healing a family issue, between you and your masculine. I've told mine, he said to me, on one of the holidays, like, I don't know, happy Thanksgiving or Easter or Merry Christmas, whatever it was, to you and your family. And I said, you're my family too. It's that sort of togetherness, and the feminine maybe releasing some of the anger, frustration, regret, resentment attached to opportunities where those conversations weren't had, and where she didn't feel the masculine was there, where she felt alone, where she felt like, why do I have to do this? We're not the first to do it. We're not reinventing the wheel. Women have been in this position all the way back to the beginning of time, so like mother, like daughter, basically. So what else? Yeah, the masculine wanting to get a load off his chest. Some of them already have. I had said that there would be, that there was some masculine that wanted his feminine to call him. I've heard from many of you, some of you saying that last week, you spoke to the divine masculine on the phone more than you have in the entire, history of your relationship. Like you went from 1 or 2 times ever in years to, almost every day. And I think that's beautiful. I think that's amazing. So hopefully that is continuing. It looks like it is. And we're just moving toward positivity and healing and getting ourselves together, experiencing grace. Amen. All right. So I'm going to take these up. And for the next spread, I'm beginning with the King of Water, who is a Scorpio, Pisces, or Cancer. Trustworthy, compassionate, respected, and cultured is the King of Water. If he's not one of those signs, he's somebody taking on these attributes this week, and can be us, ourselves, the divine feminine. It can be the divine masculine. It's about being, emotionally healthy. The King of Water, he is, he's not afraid to show his emotions, but he does not wear his emotions on his sleeve. He's a very together being. He is the king of all love and emotion, but he knows how to hold it together. Open your heart and mind to those around you. Trustworthy and heartfelt advice and charity work, which is love. Opening to the 5 of Water. Things not turning out the way you'd hoped. Not seeing the positive in the situation and crying over spilled milk. This is failing to notice that we have 2 glorious cups standing up, and we're worried about the ones that have fallen over. This is the oh woe is me that I was saying needs to stop. This is failing to count our blessings. King of Water. Open it to the Knight of Water, who's emotional, romantic, enthusiastic, and contemplative. Falling in love or wedding proposals, the need to balance emotions, and maybe even an invitation to a social event. So of the Knights, this one for me is the most romantic. He's the one, you know, standing outside your window serenading you. King of Water back though. And the Two of Water. How freaking awesome was that just now? King of Water, Knight of Water, Two of Water. A relationship that continues to grow closer. Forgiveness, feminine, and the positive resolution of a conflict. So it's like masculine, you get to talking, I'll get to forgiving. King of Water. I'll go one more. Oh boy, maybe I should have quit while I was ahead. It's the Three of Air. Great sadness. Take time to heal. There's a need to forgive yourself and others. This could be whoever's seeking the forgiveness. And if the other spread has anything to do with it, that's the masculine. So this could be what he's feeling in advance of this other stuff, you know, in advance of speaking up, speaking his truth to the feminine, and the King of Water, you know, prevails over that other energy. Oh, Awakening with Archangel Gabriel, which represents for me Pisces. It's that energy of, you know, maybe sort of being a little foggy. That's why there's a need to, that's why you feel like you're hanging upside down, but that's why there's a need to take a step back and, you know, look at the bigger picture. Look at things from a different perspective. You are at a temporary standstill so that you can do this. It's important to be yourself in that period. We don't want no phony, you know, business at that time. Our overall energy today is the Nine of Fire. Don't give up. Protect that which you've created. Something like this the other day that was from the gospel also of St. Matthew, and it was about persevering. Whomever makes it to the end will be saved, is what the gospel says. That's what I'm getting from here. Especially since nines represent endings, and this is a card of, you know, remaining at the ready, the warrior, that warrior readiness and will, and persevering, not giving up, staying in the game to the end. The masculine, the Three of Water, a celebration, a wedding, graduation, or birth announcement, and the need to have more fun. That's the one that's jumping out at me most right now. The need for the masculine to maybe stop being such a worrywart and stick in the mud and have more fun. Perhaps with the divine feminine. The Knight of Water was just here a second ago. He likes to invite people out. He's romantic like that. Maybe the two of them going out and celebrating something. This is he's surrounded by the Six of Water. Memories from your history or childhood. Issues regarding children and romanticizing the past. So this is a soulmate card. It's a past life relationship card of the tarot. It does also have to do you know, with children often for me, but that's not what jumped out either. Definitely the soulmate card just jumped out as the most prominent message that's coming from that right now. And in his subconscious, the Eight of Earth, which is all about being rewarded for your hard work. Skilled work is rewarded. Also learning all there is to know about a topic and maybe even going back to school. The feminine, the Ten of Earth, a very happy family life, financial security, finding magic in the little things in life. So a good week for us, maybe courtesy of Venus having shown up before. We started off with her in the other spread. We're surrounded, however, by the Eight of Air, an illusion of being trapped, a lack of self-confidence, being afraid to take action. This may be representing those of us who have been guided to make the phone call, but we're afraid to. Okay, we lack the confidence we need to pick up the phone and reconnect with this. Six of Water, Six of Cups can often indicate somebody coming back into your life, reconciliation or that. Then we're afraid to initiate it. In the feminine subconscious, the Queen of Earth, who is thoughtful, creative, warm, and sensible. She's also a Taurus, Capricorn, or Virgo, or somebody taking on those attributes, those energies. And she can be Venus. This can be representing Lady Venus yet again. Make time for those around you. Take a sensible approach and deal with challenges in a kind and understanding manner. This can be, again, making time for those around you, making time to make the phone call. And, you know, maybe you're the Knight of Water. Feminine, maybe you're going to do the inviting. Crowning, the Six of Air. Things are looking up. It's the end of a difficult situation. You may even be taking a trip. For those of us feeling bound to something, I think in some cases bound to lack, material lack, financial lack, that time, that period in your life coming to an end. We're moving on into calmer, stiller waters and more abundant ones as well. At the root, the World with Archangel Michael, a job well done, joy, contentment, and gratitude in the path toward enlightenment. It's another 3. But more importantly, the World for me is about having made it through like a long, trying, often difficult time. And since this is about ending difficulty, leaving difficult times, yeah, I think that certainly what it means here. And I think that difficult time for many of us has to do with finances and the material. And that's why we were feeling stuck. Like I can't move forward. There's a lot of things that I want to do that I can't do. Aside from making a phone call that doesn't have anything to do with money. I can't do a lot of the things I want to do in my life because I don't have the money to. So that changing for the feminine this week. And at the heart of the matter, the 5 of Fire, because somebody's jealous about that. Somebody doesn't want that to happen for you. Competing goals, bothersome details, and conflict with others. This conflict with others for a good bit can be at work. Okay, this can be somebody trying to get in between you and your money at the office. Jealous of you, maybe for a promotion, a raise, a bonus. July, often a time of bonuses. Many companies having, like, for example, a fiscal year in June. And so now July, you get your bonus. I was talking to one of my clients in Italy the other day, and she was saying that in Italy, that was a time for bonuses, also the month of July. And then people take breaks and vacations and things in August. I guess how some, you know, like Latin countries have like siesta time and everybody takes their break at the same time, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, somebody can be jealous of you at the office. I think we do prevail. However, again, we're moving into more positive times. We're moving into this 10 of Earth energy. We have the Queen of Earth to thank for it. But in the meantime, we might have some worry. Release that, let go of that. I'm going to look for the next upright card. It's here. I'm going to use this one to clarify the 8 of Air. It's the 4 of Fire. Some of you may be moving in together too. And that can cause jealousy and things of that nature too. Contentment, peace, and abundance, and a happy home life. The successful completion of a project. Some people may be moving. They're worried about that. Some people may have been offered an opportunity to move in with the mate and they're, you know, nervous about that. But yeah, go for it. And that certainly would breed jealousy. To clarify the 5 of Fire, this can also be representing this Mars in Leo, because right, Mars is a very like aggressive kind of energy, and you know, Leo can be as well. So this can be coming through for that. This can be inner turmoil for some too, in connection to this feeling of being bound. But let's see what it's going to be for most. The King of Air, brilliant, impartial, professional, and diplomatic is the King of Air. Speak your mind with confidence. So this can be Mercury again, and the need to get a load off. Seek out professional advice and balance mental and emotional considerations. Some of us being, again, afraid to do that and manifesting negativity into our lives, expecting the worst, self-fulfilling prophecies, sleepless nights. I could go on for days like this. And maybe the need for the feminine to step into her power, just as I started talking about in the beginning. The Queen of Fire, or the masculine, to take on this kind of energy too. This is here at the heart of the matter. Either one of us can do it. Switch over from 5 of Air, from 5 of Fire to Queen of Fire. Confident, warm, intelligent, and graceful is the Queen of Fire. She's also a Leo, Aries, or Sagittarius. Stretch your wings and fly. Don't underestimate yourself. Assert your independence and creativity. So stop, you know, worrying that you can't do it with this 9 of air. Stop, again, worrying you can't do it, lacking confidence in yourself with this 8 of air. And cut those strings and cords to that, to those ties, those karmic ties that are holding you down. And go after your abundance here that's waiting for you. I mean, it's very clear that the universe wants to, bestow things upon us. And see what the Ascended Masters would add to some of this. So with regard to the negativity that we're dealing with, which can be coming also not only necessarily from work, but from close friends and or family, whomever it's coming from, choose peace, okay? Seek your freedom. Break away from these people. Use the King of Air's sword to cut those ties and leave them alone. Right? Seek your peace instead. Choose peace. Maybe meditate in order to help you to get to that place that a decision you have to make as to what you're going to do, or to find your confidence, to shed the negative thoughts about yourself. Do some yoga or other kind of meditation. Be confident that the abundance is coming. Thank the universe in advance for it. We know it's coming. Queen of Earth here, 10 of Earth here. 6 of Air here to tell us it's the end of the difficulties. The world here to say it's the end of the difficulties. The universe moving us out of that painful time and into a new one that's more better and happier. So go ahead and come out of the closet. No need to be scared and hiding, and to not trust in yourself. It's time for you to, be the huge person, full, whole you, your whole self. Regardless of threat of persecution and all that kind of stuff, to get back to that. Because every time when I say something, sometimes I don't know why I'm saying it, but there's always a reason. So I wasn't sure at the time why I went into what happened at church, but there it is. That explains that. Our overall energy is priorities with King Solomon. Here atop the 3 of water, nurture yourself. What did I say? This is about you feeling better about you, you having a good time, getting out there masculine, doing you. And if that means, including the feminine and inviting her out, that's so much, all the better. But whatever living and or loving for you means, that's what you're meant to do. And nurture yourself, like treat yourself to what you enjoy, what makes you feel good. Here atop the 6 of water. So for some of us, this is a past life relationship that we need to, bring some healing to. It can be the one with the feminine. It can be one that we need to leave, the one we need to cut off with the King of Air's swords. In either case, we need to clear and shield our energy. It's about healing the situation and bringing closure to it, at least as it exists in this form. So if it's with regard to the feminine, we want to clear and shield this energy, get rid of it, and end the relationship as it was, and it's crossing the world here, right? So we're getting out of that energy. We want to move into the one of forgiveness and compassion. If it has to do with the person from whom we need to break away, this, close friend and or family member that's at the heart of the matter, represented, or person at our job represented by the 5 of Wands, then we want to, do that. But one way or another, this is about healing a relationship by repairing it or by walking away from it, basically. Here atop the 8 of Earth, and where we want to put effort into, with at least thinking about putting some effort, some real work into something. What are we going to put our work into? Well, that's up to you. St. Francis says follow your heart. So whether it's with regard to love or, again, work, or some other experience in your life, who you need to leave alone, who you need to get closer to, follow your heart. As Mother Mary said, this is living and or loving for you, not for anybody else. Here, atop the 10 of Earth is come out of the closet and Amaterasu. so that you can have this, very happy family life. So you can be this prominent being, this larger than life being that you are, the goddess. No need for you to be shrinking into a closet or into yourself and lacking confidence when you are the Queen of Wands. And here atop this Eight of Air, which was the original card that I clarified by the Four of Fire, is see the other person's point of view. So, whereas this relates to feeling bound to something or someplace, and maybe more so someone, we need to get away from them. But we want to handle this thing and approach it sort of like a queen of earth, right? From a compassionate and warm perspective. We just want to choose peace. So whether we're repairing a relationship or walking away from it, we want to see the other person's point of view, be that King of Swords that's fair and diplomatic, and handle our business that way. Here atop the Queen of Earth, it says right. And I think it does have to do in some cases with writing people off. Again, ending, choosing to sign on the dotted line. If it's that sort of situation, maybe, an official breakup or end of a partnership or something, business, romantic, whatever. And friendship, you don't have a friend contract, or maybe you do. Like they had Real Housewives of Atlanta that time, between Cynthia and Nene, they had a friend contract. There can be an ending to something like that. We're going to write this whole thing off. From another perspective with the writing off, it can be like writing off like the past debt, right? The past karmic debt, forgetting all of that and forgiving. So we're moving forward because we're writing off. We're going to say, forget all this. Let's start new. Right? Let's use the energy of the world. Let's leave this in the past. This is behind, and move on to brighter pastures, as they say. And speaking of the world, here atop the world is drink more water with those shun, because we're being elevated and we're ascending. I actually did hear Bobby Smurda, Hot Niggas, today, which is always about ascension for me. He talks about, it speaks to elevation for me. I won't go any further into that right now because I'm already... I already have so much stuff to do, and I got to do a love reading also. Here atop the Six of Air. So we're moving forward now. We're not going to look back. We're not going to look behind us anymore, right? What are you looking that way for? You're not going that way. We're moving forward. Stay focused on that. And at the heart of the matter, here atop was what was originally the Five of Wands. Moving away from that drama. Serapis Bay says, go now. Like we don't have any more energy to give to this. Because every time we do, we contribute to the negativity and we begin to manifest it into our own lives. Remember the number one that came up before, watch your thoughts. The masculine wanted the feminine to watch her thoughts. He's got to watch his too. This is for whomever this, to this Five of Wands applies. Go now, up and away from whatever that is, because we got bigger fish to fry. And our advice. I just saw cut cords as I tried to pick this up, but I'm beginning with integrity from my angel therapy cards. Align your actions so that they match your values and inner knowingness. Okay? And that you do what's right for you. If you get nervous, instead of locking yourself up and feeling bound to something or biting your nails and having trouble sleeping, focus on service. Put your entire intention on answering the question, how can I make the world a better place? And the law of attraction will automatically take care of your needs. So when I was saying about, what's to your higher good or the higher good in general, that's to what this is speaking to. To reach that, we may need to be willing to forgive. Ask the angels to clear your mind and body of past pain in exchange for peacefulness. So let go of the Three of Air to make way for the Four of Wands, or the Two of Water that was here before. One more. I'm never sad when I say one more and I do it. Well, except for today earlier when I opened to the three of air. To answer your question, the answer to your question involves a spiritually based romantic relationship. Speaking of the two of water, it's a twin flame relationship. We need to be willing to forgive our mate so that we can come back into, a positive place, and moving forward. Twin flame. On that note, I will cut. Release. Work with Archangel Michael to let go of what no longer serves you or your purpose. Go now. Cut it off now. And our overall energy is yet again, if you get nervous, focus on service. From the angel therapy cards to the masculine. Emotional sensitivity. This is the second time tonight they're moving into this place of sensitivity. You need a man with sensitivity. Honor and respect your deep sensitivity as it is a gift to us all. Feminine, parents. And right away, I wonder if that's with whom maybe we, at least, have the difficulty. Maybe it's with our parents or about our parents, maybe with our siblings. That's jumping out. The divine truth is that your parents eternally love you to the best of their ability. The angels are helping you to heal from any past pain associated with your mother or father. And I think for those to whom this parent card applies, it may more so be with respect to the father, with father having shown up in the other spread, but then also that overall card with the Indian, the Native American, so that there was like ancestral healing required, family healing required. So I think that has to, there's a situation for some of us involving our like family, basically, not necessarily like another romantic partner or anything like that. From the Keepers of the Light Oracle to the masculine, Dharma unfolding. Remember that you're on a path. Take one step at a time toward happiness. Keepers of the Light to the feminine. Lady Portia, divine order. Do what you feel is right. This being pounded into us. An important lesson is unfolding. From the angels to the masculine, life experience or the tower, a significant life event is a powerful revelation that leads to change. It's time to spread your wings. This is a neutral energy, and I think it's going to be good with all the positivity we've seen with King of Water and Knight of Water and Two of Water and Twin Flame. I think this is a tower that is very much positive, that you can look forward to. Maybe involving your mate. The feminine drawing the lovers, intimate relationships. Carefully weigh your decisions. Good health. And lastly, from the Ascended Masters to the masculine, energy healing. Did we come full circle or what? I started out talking about this energy healing from this deck in particular. So we're back to it with Merlin. He says that we need to work on this. And lastly, find the blessing in your current situation, says Krishna. So even where we have to leave certain people, places, things behind, maybe even our own parents in some cases, there's still positive and good to come from that. We're still choosing peace. We're still healing the relationships in the most positive and best way for all involved. I hope that you guys enjoyed the general reading. I'll be back with love, getting straight to the point of love and only focusing on that in just a bit. Namaste, angels.